5 alleged time travelers, and why they shouldn't exist. So you really like the movie Back to the Future, huh? Alright, well I'm gonna tell you a few stories you haven't heard before. Get ready. Now, when you hear the words time traveler, who comes to mind first? Marty McFly? No, everybody knows him. But history is full of strange stories that most people don't know about, stories that have been left in the shadows. And today I'm going to tell you about 5 real-life time travel claims. Some of them are so ridiculous you'll laugh until your stomach hurts, while others will make you think seriously. Let's get started. The first man who fits our time traveler criteria is Rudolph Fentz. It was 1950, New York, Times Square. The clock read exactly 11:15, a normal night. People were walking happily, cars were passing quietly, everything looked normal as usual. Then suddenly, not with a bang like in the movies, but quietly, a man appears in the middle of it all. But something is strange. This man doesn't look like anyone else. He is wearing clothes from a bygone era, as if he were left over from the Victorian era. He looks around in bewilderment, at the billboards, at the cars buzzing by. It's as if he's fallen into a completely different world. As those around him say, has this guy lost his mind? He suddenly jumps into the road despite the red light for pedestrians, and a taxi hits the poor guy. He dies instantly. So our time traveler waited 74 years to become a victim of a traffic accident. The police arrived and began their routine procedures. But while searching the body, they found strange things. Coins from the 19th century, and there was more. A letter dated 1876. As the police looked at each other blankly, documents from businesses that no longer existed suddenly appeared from the man's pockets. A horse rental service bill, a tavern coupon, and a business card. It had a name on it, not Marty McFly, of course. Mr. Rudolph Fentz. But the strangest part was that all these items looked brand new. Yes, as if the cards had been printed yesterday and the coins had just been taken from the bank branch. Naturally, the stunned police began investigating, but there was no such person in the phone book. When they went to the building at the address, they were told it had been a business for a long time, so no one knew anyone with the last name Fentz. Then, while investigating, a new name came up, Rudolph Fentz Jr., but he had died 5 years ago. The police found his wife. Now listen to what the woman said.
My father-in-law, Rudolph Fentz, went out for an evening walk in 1876 and never returned.
Until 74 years later, when he was hit by a taxi in Times Square.
Wow, right? A perfect time travel story.
But we have a small problem.
Problem? What problem?
Nothing in this story is true. The whole story is based on a short story called I'm Scared, written by an author named Jack Finney for Collier's magazine in 1951. The guy went on to write classics like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He was pretty good at making up stories. So good, in fact, that people believed it was real. And some sharp minds not only still believe it's real, but also cite it here and there as important evidence for time travel. It was 2002. Alarm bells were ringing on Wall Street. The SEC was in a panic. Why? A guy named Andrew Carlssin took $800 and turned it into $350 million on the stock market. And he did it in just 2 weeks. How? Just like anyone who set their mind on making big money would do, by investing in high-risk stocks. But Andrew Carlssin had one small difference from other investors. Of course, he made money on every single one. Yes, every single one. This is mathematically impossible. Carlssin was immediately arrested. He was interrogated. I don't know what the FBI agents were expecting during the 4-hour interrogation, but our time-traveling financial expert told them everything.
I came from the year 2025-6.
Of course it is.
I used the knowledge I gained in the future.
And how exactly did that help you beat the stock market?
I used the knowledge I gained in the future. I studied news about the past, and I already knew about stock market movements.
No secret contacts on Wall Street?
Just a very good memory.
And I thought this interrogation would be easy.
He also confessed. Actually, I shouldn't have made that much money, he said. But I succumbed to my greed. Don't you dare make that much money either. Otherwise, FBI agents will show up at your door.
Wow, a real time traveler candidate. This time we really caught one. I wonder what the FBI agents thought. Did they say, oh man, he's crazy, or wait a minute?
Anyway, the man confessed to the crime, but didn't name his accomplices. Under normal circumstances, no one can make that much money in such a short time. The FBI said he would remain in prison until he revealed who his accomplices were. Carlssin didn't back down, he just offered a deal.
Reduce my sentence, and I'll tell you where Iraq's weapons of mass destruction are. I'll tell you where Osama bin Laden is. I don't want any money. Just let me go back to the time machine, please.
But he didn't tell anyone where the machine was. Bail was set at $1 million. He was thrown straight inside. FBI officials were confident. The man had no official record, no relatives, no friends. He was certain to go to prison as a result of the trial. However, in the second week, a mysterious man appeared. He paid the $1 million. He got Carlssin out. After the incident, there was no further news of either Carlssin or the man who got him out. Isn't that a great story? The only problem is that it's completely fake. This story was also written for the Weekly World News newspaper. Those who follow this newspaper know it. It's a completely reliable newspaper, famous for headlines like Bat Boy Found and Elvis is Still Alive. But still, if you're really a time traveler, don't go to this newspaper. But the funny thing is, even though more than 20 years have passed, people still share this story. They ask, is it true? No, my friend, it's not. It never happened. Let's go back to 1995. There's a fierce boxing match between Mike Tyson and Peter McNeely. Tyson has just been released from prison, and this is his first fight. Everyone is very excited, but the real attraction isn't the fight itself. A man in the stands is holding a strange device. Look at the footage now. Someone in the audience is recording the match with a device that bears no resemblance to the technology of the time, resembling today's smartphones. What's even more interesting is that he's holding the device with one hand. Video cameras back then were the size of TVS. So, what is this? An iPhone? Many people on the internet thought it was a Samsung Galaxy or similar device, but that wasn't possible because phones like that didn't start appearing until 10 years later. So we ask our question again, what is this?
Is this event real?
Yes, it's real. So the match really happened and this guy really existed. But the device isn't a Samsung Galaxy or an iPhone. It's one of the digital cameras that had just come out at the time, like the Casio QV100 or the Logitech Photoman. It's hard to tell clearly because the video resolution is low, but we know for sure that the guy is not a time traveler. He can't even be considered a candidate for time travel. Think about it, what kind of genius would go watch a Mike Tyson match when they could be traveling through time? If it were me, I would at least go watch Marilyn Monroe. So now we're traveling through time and going back to 1941. There's a bridge opening in British Columbia, Canada. People have gathered. Photos are being taken. It's a normal day. Everyone is dressed in stylish clothes of the era. Faces serious. So far, everything is normal. Years later, the Browlorn Pioneer Museum digitized its archives and put them online. And someone looked at one of those photos and said,
Hey buddy, there's a weird guy here.
There's a young man standing in the middle of the crowd who really does look strange. He has a modern haircut. He's wearing modern-looking glasses. He's wearing a tank top and a cardigan. He's holding a compact, small camera in his hand. There was no such thing in 1941. Back then, the fashion was the toothbrush mustache, so this image was not at all common. Since there was no artificial intelligence on the internet back then, everyone initially thought it was Photoshop. But the museum made a statement. No, the photo is completely original.
So who was this man? Was he really a time traveler?
Internet enthusiasts immediately researched the man. It turned out that the logo on his t-shirt was that of the Montreal Maroons hockey team. His glasses resembled those worn by motorcyclists at the time. The expensive camera in his hand could have been a Brownie or another model available at the time. So he wasn't a time traveler, but he was a cool guy ahead of his time. Even if he wasn't actually a time traveler, I think he's the most likely candidate for one based on his style of dress. I appreciated the man's style. If this man is alive today, he might be walking around in astronaut suits far ahead of his time. Speaking of toothbrush mustaches, it's impossible not to remember Charlie Chaplin. In 2010, a video was uploaded to YouTube. Title, Charlie Chaplin's Time Traveler. The video went viral in a short time. It's a scene from the 1928 film The Circus, starring Charlie Chaplin. It's the film premiere. A crowd is walking. You see a woman on stage. She has something held to her ear and seems to be talking to someone.
How is that possible? In 1928, there were no satellites, no mobile phones, and no wireless devices. Who is this woman talking to? What is she using?
A similar image appears in a 1938 promotional video for the DuPont factory. Again, a woman is talking into a small device. The internet went crazy. Everyone was shouting, "We found the time traveler." It even made the news channels. Once again, internet enthusiasts immediately set about examining all the technological equipment from those years. But there were no cell phones like that back then. Cell phones aside, even walkie-talkies were just starting to appear.
Well, who were these women talking to?
The answer is simple, actually. Those devices were hearing aids, devices used by people with hearing problems at the time. The only unsolved mystery is why the woman in Chaplin's video was talking to herself. Maybe she really was crazy. Who knows? If these women weren't actually time travelers, then they must have paid a lot of money for these devices back then. If they were time travelers, they may have used these devices to avoid drawing too much attention to themselves at the time. When the video became popular, the family of the woman in the DuPont video said yes, it was a wireless telephone, hoping to get rich quick. But later it turned out they were lying. They had lied in order to get paid interviews with magazines and journalists.
Pay me?
Do time travelers enjoy talking on the phone, or is it only women?
Of course not. We also have male time travelers caught on camera holding devices that look like phones. This is another photo from the 1940s. So no, it's not just women. So why are we so interested in this? Because you want to believe in time travel. That's why you take even the most ridiculous evidence seriously. There is no scientific evidence, yet you want to believe fake newspaper reports, primitive devices in low-resolution videos, and people dressed in interesting clothes in photographs. Maybe you want time travel to be real so badly that you see what you want to see. Or maybe real time travelers are so good at hiding that we only get the fake ones. Scientists generally say that traveling to the past is impossible, but that a one-way trip to the future might be possible. At least that's what Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking believed. Now I have a question on my mind. Do you think Rudolph Fentz Jr.'s wife was sad that her father-in-law reappeared, or was she happy that the taxi hit her? Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Writers can sometimes lie to you. Sometimes clever people come up with something, and for a while, everyone believes it. Anyway, which of these time travelers do you think is more ridiculous? I'm giving my vote in the ridiculousness category to the time traveler in the Mike Tyson fight because there's no story behind it, no plot. Keep following me because I'll surprise you with more interesting information in future videos.